Good morning, Order. This is James, also known as Darth Manter. I believe Corey's question was a two-parter. The first part being what draws you to being a game master, and the second part being how do you deal with anxiety, performance, or otherwise when starting a game. I get drawn to game mastering in various games because of being interested or loving a setting or an idea or a concept. I've been now game mastering and playing games for 30 years. The first game I ever ran was actually Cyberpunk 2020, soon after it first came out. I've been doing it my entire gaming career. What started me with that was I knew that since I bought the book, my friend wasn't going to want to run it first, so I had to run it. I end up with an idea or a concept I want to share. That's why I shared Cyberpunk 2020 as a one-shot with everybody here, why I ran the Firefly game. The other reason I often end up running games in my IRL group is because they found an adventure path or they found something they were interested in and wanted me to run it. Make sure it's something you actually have a strong interest in, if not actual love, and find like-minded people to play with you that also at least are interested in the concepts of whatever game system or setting you're playing with. As a game master, you're kind of like the lead scriptwriter in a writer's room for a television show. And your first session of play is going to be like the pilot episode of a show. And you have to remember, your other players are also scriptwriters in that room. You're just the lead one, so you get to know what the overarching plot is and where to go with it. They help you figure out side plots, other ways to go with things, what their characters actually would react to things. So as long as you think of it more as a scriptwriter, or being the lead one and having fellow scriptwriters, and you're all giving ideas to go with things, you're going to do just fine. How to deal with the anxiety side of things? Well, that's a little bit more difficult. Corey specifically mentioned the Matt Mercer effect and Crit Roll and all of that and all the podcasts and other things, including Order of the Unicorn, or Order of the Dead Unicorn. And for the most part, for me, I don't really worry about what other people are doing before I start a game. So what podcasts are happening, what things are popular like that, and all things like that, doesn't really enter into my consciousness when I'm preparing to run a game. But I do still have anxiety, stage fright, performance anxiety, all of those things. I love what I'm going to share, and I want to share it. That helps a lot right there with the anxiety. It goes way down. And if you know your players are also in love with the setting or system or what have you, or the concept you tell them about the game, then you're already starting on the same page, and it's a lot less anxiety that way. As far as worrying about being a good game master or not, well, I sometimes fail anyway. We're all here to have fun, but sometimes things happen and games just end up not fun, and you just got to know when that happens to go, oh, hey, take a step back, talk with people, figure out what's going on. Maybe you got to scrap that campaign and move on to a new one. Or maybe there's something you can do to actually fix a problem going on. In my IRL group, another person was a first-time game master and actually was running a really overarching major campaign. Yeah. First-time game master out the gate doing a big thing like that, especially as they were homebrewing everything except the system we were using. Yeah, I don't recommend doing that at all, but it was impressive. And at one point, my character ended up being perceived, at least, as well overpowered compared to the other players. We kept ending up in situations where it was like a single bad guy, and my character would down them in a single round before the others could even act. The other players weren't having fun. I wasn't really feeling challenged. We ended up talking about it. And since my character was an archer and that's what was causing it, I actually talked with the game master and said, look, just give us mooks, bunch of mooks. I'll take out the mooks and they can handle the big guy. and we'll all be happier. And amulets of arrow deflection, reflection exist. And so we saw those elements appear and other things occur, and the game ended up much better as a result. As far as just performance anxiety beforehand, like Howard said, prep, prep, prep. It helps. If you know you're prepared, if you know you're ready for that session, you don't have to prep beyond that. Just for that session, you should be fine. Performance anxiety, well, that happens to everybody, even the best game masters. Matt Mercer's even mentioned it in an interview before about getting a little stage fright anxiety going on. You just gotta take a couple deep breaths, remind yourself you're playing with people who, even if you're not actually friends yet, are at least people you like enough to invite to your table. And they're going to be giving you a certain amount of leeway too, just like you're going to give them leeway on how they play their characters. I never try to plan beyond one session ahead. I have a rough idea further out, but I'd stick to just that session. Let's make sure I'm ready for that and go for there. I think that about covers it. Hope this helps anybody out there, and look forward to everybody having more fun with games.